What's up guys? Today we're gonna be trying the Karcher Steam Cleaner. Karcher? I've been seeing tons of videos online about this little steam cleaner, and I am someone that very much enjoys things that clean very nicely. So, not gonna lie, I have high hopes for this one. I'm gonna try it on as many surfaces in my house as I can to see if it actually works. The main selling point of this steam cleaner is that it's supposed to kill 99.9% of bacteria without the use of any harsh chemicals or without the use of any chemicals at all. It's basically only meant to use water, which is heated up and pressurized, so pressurized steam essentially. But let's first see what are all of the attachments that it comes with.
So the first attachment that it came with is the mop attachment. To be honest, I'm not sure how much I would be using this one, but you know, you've got the option. Then we've got the measuring container, and then there's the directional spout. Then there's this brush attachment that you can either use on its own or with the cloth attachment that I'm going to show you later. This is the little direction spout that fits onto the bigger one I just showed you. Then this is the cloth for the brush attachment. Then there's another little attachment for the black spout. This one is a brush attachment. And lastly, there's the actual steam gun itself. As you can see, the cable is very nice and long, so I don't think we're gonna have issues not being able to reach places with it. The steam gun has a lock button, child protection lock, and this is the part that you unscrew to pour the water into it. And that's everything it came with. As you can see, the measuring cup is quite small. It can hold a maximum of 200 milliliters, which I'll be honest is not a great amount. The setup was really easy. You literally just pour the water in and plug it in, and then you wait for it to start doing things. It says in the manual it takes about 3 minutes to warm up, but I don't think it was nearly that. I think it was done in like under a minute. And let's now look at my reaction of trying the steam cleaner for the first time.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's steamy, all right. All right, let's do this.
I then decided to give the bigger attachment a try. This is the brush attachment with the little cloth on top. I mean, it did something, but I think it worked just as a regular wet cloth would.
Something that I've got my eyes on is this little stain over here. I'm gonna try to get that out with one of the little detailing tools. If that works, I'm gonna be very satisfied with that.
It didn't work that great on the limescale. I was quite disappointed by that because, like I said, the main selling point of the steam cleaner is that it reduces the need for chemicals. But with this kind of dirt, you kind of have to use chemicals anyway to loosen the dirt up, and then you can use the steamer to actually get it off. But honestly, like a scrub daddy or a regular brush would work just as fine for that. I don't really think you need a steam cleaner for that. I then tried the brush attachment with the cloth on the mirror because, as you can see, it's got some water stains on it as well. And with that, it did really, really well. I used the steam cleaner and then a glass cleaning cloth to kind of get rid of the water and any of the water streaks on there, and that worked really, really well. Again, is it better than just using water without a steam cleaner? I don't think so.
I'm getting really hot from all the steam in here. Oof, I'm steaming hot. So the next thing we're gonna tackle is the bathroom grout. I have wanted to tackle this ever since I moved into this apartment, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And this grout is disgusting, so I'm really looking forward to taking this bad boy for a ride and see how he handles the grout on this.
So as you can see, the steam cleaner really did a number on the grout, which I was very pleased with because that was the #1 reason that I got the steam cleaner for. I noticed that it's better to work in pulses rather than holding the button down continuously, because if you hold the button and let the steam do its thing, then it kind of loses power as it goes. So the first like 3 seconds it's super powerful and then it's kind of meh. So it's better to use short bursts of the steam, which are stronger and are much more able to get rid of the dirt. I then tried it with the brush attachment, and oh boy, that was a whole different game altogether. The brush attachment really made it a lot faster and a lot easier, because as well as loosening up the dirt by the steam, you can also move the dirt around with the brush. So if you're gonna do some grout cleaning, definitely reach for the little brush attachment. And look at the difference. That is like a completely different tile. I then decided to do a little time comparison of a regular grout cleaning method that I used to use and that I would have used if I didn't have the steam cleaner, which is just a grout spray and this little grout brush. I have to say, if you're not gonna get the steam cleaner and you like cleaning in tight spaces, this brush, oh my god, it is so good. As you can see, the steam cleaner got rid of the dirt a little bit faster, but I wouldn't say that it's like a huge time difference. It probably saves you like, I don't know, a couple of seconds, but maybe then if you're working on larger areas and you add it up, then it does make some kind of a difference. And the steam cleaner is obviously a lot more comfortable to use than, you know, having to go in there with the brush and get carpal tunnel from that. I then tried to use the steam cleaner on the shower wall because, again, this is another place that gets a lot of limescale buildup, and it's not a place that I clean very often, to be perfectly honest with you. It's like a once a month situation. That didn't really do much. I'm gonna try to again spray some limescale remover on there for a while and let that sit for a minute. And then I'm gonna go in with the steam cleaner. For comparison, this bottom tile, I'm just gonna clean this regularly as I would with using the descaler and just a scrub daddy. Experiment time! By the way, if you can get your hands on this limescale remover, it is literally the best. I have never used a better limescale remover. I got this one in the UK. I'm not sure if it's available in other countries, but if you can get your hands on it, it's pretty good. All right, so this is the top tile that I sprayed and then steamed. And then this is the bottom tile that I sprayed and then scrubbed with the scrub daddy. And this one is definitely cleaner. You can't really see as many residue streaks as you can on the upper tile here. If you want to compare it to a completely dirty tile, this is what it looked like before, and this is scrub daddy. And then the top one, this is what it looked like before, and this is steam cleaned. So it did do something, but it's definitely not better than a regular method. So I think we can come to a conclusion that the steam cleaner is not great with hard water stains or limescale buildup in general. So that's the bathroom. Let's now move on to the kitchen stove. So I'm especially looking forward to the area here between the stove and the countertop, because this one gathers a lot of dirt. So I think that one's gonna be a lot of fun. And then I'm gonna also try to get rid of these burnt rings over here. I don't think it's gonna work as well for those, but we'll give it a try and we'll see. I again tried to use the brush attachment with the cloth. I didn't really have high hopes for this doing anything because, again, this is like really built up dirt that is hard to get rid of even with chemicals. And just as I anticipated, it didn't really do anything. I would say it was pretty comparable to just using a wet cloth and wiping the stovetop down that way. So not great for this kind of dirt. The space between the stove and the counter Oof, boy, that was a whole different deal. This is one of the most difficult places to clean in general, so the steam cleaner is really good for a place like this, which is hard to reach. And you can actually see the dirt flying away to places here, which on one hand was really satisfying, but on the other hand, it made a bigger mess than there originally was. But you know, it got rid of the dirt beneath the stovetop and the countertop, so it did what it was intended to do. This was another one of those situations where it was kind of awkward to try to get the steam cleaner at a proper angle, just because the steam gun is kind of bulky and big, and that has started to become a theme in this thing, and it is definitely a bone I have to pick with the steam cleaner, that is just really awkward to work with. The backsplash was the same situation as the shower. It got rid of the surface level dirt that was on there that a wet cloth probably could have done as well. But as for really thick oil stains, it didn't do anything to that. So in conclusion, doesn't do anything to hard limescale, doesn't do anything to hard oil stains. I then thought that I would give it a try on the oven as well. Again, I didn't really have super high expectations for the oven because this is, again, really built up dirt that has been living there for God knows how long, honestly. But hey, figured I would give it a try anyway. I first went in with the brush attachment again, and then I tried the sprout with the little brush attachment. There was a little area of caked up, I don't know if it was cheese or whatever, some kind of food that was baked to the surface of the oven. And I tried getting rid of that and it did work for that, but as for the big stains that you can see here, there was literally no difference, unfortunately. And then it came time to use it on the windows. So the window area is another area that I've seen people use this on a lot on the internet. It makes sense because the window frames are a very difficult place to access. And I have to say it did do pretty well on that. But it was another one of those situations where in order to clean the window frame, you had to make an even bigger mess. The thing is, you have to go in there with a cloth afterwards anyway to get rid of the dirt that the steam cleaner released. So sometimes it kind of feels like an extra step that you have to go through using the steam cleaner when you could have just used the cloth straight away. But I do have to say that the crevice, like the one in the corner here, for example, that one would have been really difficult to get into using just the cloth alone. Then, as you can see, the next victim was the toilet, which is again another hard to reach place, especially this little area on the toilet seat. My toilet seat in particular is one that comes off, so usually when I clean it, I just take the toilet seat off. But I know that some toilet seats do not come off easily. This one literally just has a button that you have to press. So if that is your situation, then maybe this might be really helpful for that, because you wouldn't be able to get into the little crevices otherwise. I also gave the mop attachment a try. I don't think this one really makes that much sense, to be honest. I did a few sweeps on the floor and then checked the cloth, and it didn't seem to pick up that much dirt, to be honest. So I don't know how effective the mop attachment is, and I honestly don't know what I would use this for. Like, how is this better than a regular mop? I don't really see a reason to use it compared to a regular mop. And then this one is for the car bros. My boyfriend is a car bro, and he said that the steam cleaner could be really good to use on car rims. I don't know the proper terminology, but basically this part of the wheel that has this complicated design and is usually very difficult to clean. But it did seem to do a pretty good job. I have to say that, like, for loosening the dirt up, it did really, really well. I think the fact that it's also like oily a little bit helped that, because the hot steam really loosened that up really quickly. I cleaned half of the wheel and you can see that there is definitely a significant difference between the two. The one on the left is the one that I cleaned and the one on the right is the one that I didn't. If you're a car bro, you can probably appreciate this, but for me personally, I don't really worry that much about my wheels being clean. fine if you get me, because I just have different priorities in life. But if this is something that's important to you, then the steam cleaner might be a good option for making sure that your wheels are nice and pristine. So I'm just gonna give you my summary and you can enjoy watching this little time lapse of me cleaning my bathroom floor in the meantime. So one of the things I've mentioned time and time again is that you can't really tilt the steam gun too much, and it's difficult to get into more awkward spaces. For that reason, I think it would be better to have one of those that comes with the little hose attachment. This model unfortunately does not come with the hose attachment, but having the hose attachment would make it a lot easier to get into tighter spaces, and it would also be much easier to manipulate because the steam gun can get really heavy after a while, and if you have to like hold it while holding the button down, your hand can get really tired. So that's definitely one thing I would consider. Another thing is that the steam cleaner is good for places that are hard to get into. For example, the bathroom grout or the space between the faucet and the sink. What else did I clean? The stovetop or the window frame. All of those places, amazing for that. But for regular cleaning, like the oven or the shower wall, didn't really do much on that. So in my opinion, it does not reduce the need for chemicals when it comes to regular cleaning. Speaking of these hard to get into places, how often do you actually clean these? Let's think about this, because I don't really have a grout cleaning schedule. I don't really have a window frame cleaning schedule. I think realistically, I probably clean it like once a year. If that, I'm being perfectly honest with you here. So is it worth getting a steam cleaner if you're only gonna use it once a year? Something to think about. And the last thing that I mentioned is that the container is quite small. I did have to refill it every 10 minutes or so, like I mentioned. Which again, this can get really frustrating for bigger cleans, especially since you have to wait for a little bit for the steamer to cool down before you can open it. And then you have to fill it up with water and wait for the water to heat up again. So what does all of this mean? If you want to clean hard to get into places and you have decided that you do want a steam cleaner, I would recommend getting one with a bigger capacity because 200 milliliter just simply is not enough. I would maybe consider getting one that has more pressure. This one that I was using had 3.2 bar, which as you could see, it did do pretty well, but obviously the more steam pressure you have, the better it's gonna clean. And I would also consider getting a steam cleaner with the hose attachment so that you can actually get into those hard to reach places and you don't have to awkwardly, move the gun around. For me personally, I'm not gonna be keeping the steam cleaner. It was fun to try it out. It was fun to clean my grout. That rhymed unintentionally, but I don't think I would use it again for another at least 6 months. So I'm gonna be returning it. If you do decide to purchase a steam cleaner, I'm gonna leave the link to the one that I used and also some different alternatives in the description box. Do you think it's worth getting a steam cleaner? Let me know down in the comments and I'll see you here for my next video. Bye!